Hi, I'm Kenny Hill with Recovery Hill. That's properly put out that disclaimer footage. So, if this was a hierarchy, then you would achieve pillar one, then you would go into pillar two, then to pillar three, then to pillar four, and then eventually get this higher awareness. But that's not how we are. That's not how we are as people. We are too nuanced. I had a client really expand on this very well. Basically, what they were saying is the obvious nature of what you would think within nutrition, where you need calories in order to do anything, because that's the easy argument with this hierarchy component, is that, well, you need to eat. Well, this client said, actually, no, you don't, because I was killing it in this area of life when eating was not a thing for me. That was not a thing. I was literally dying nutritionally, but I was killing it in another area of life. And it's a great example of how this thing is so nuanced and strange and based off of your own perceptions, your own goals, and what you find important at that time in life and what's not important at that time in life. Small business owners can begin to build up a business and really invest so much time and focus and energy into that one thing. And all this other stuff falls off. Sleep falls off, relationships fall off, all these things begin to lose themselves. If they had faith prior, that maybe higher awareness goes away for a while and they become hyper focused on this one area of trying to get their business developed. And let's say they do that for 6 months or a year, and then they begin to have the success to where they begin to kind of take a deep breath and hone more in on certain things, right? I'm not saying that's a great way of doing things, but athletes do it as well. Athletes will really hone in on this area over here, and other things can begin to suck. What I'll say about that is if you do it for a momentary period of time, and if your support system is willing to put up with it, okay. But doing it over a long time, it's not sustainable. It will become highly disruptive, and you will not be able to maintain any form of mental wellness whatsoever. But being able to hit the majority of these pillars, you're never going to hit them all. You're human. Let's be clear. You're not going to knock them all out of the park. It's just not going to happen. But to be able to try to aim for a good percentage of them is what you want to try to aim for. You want to try to get sleep knocked off, right? Because I kind of put that at the top of the list. If you can, you want to try to knock out sleep, and you want to maybe look at some exercise and some nutrition and stuff, right? And then you want to kind of pay attention to some relationships and do a decent job at that stuff, and then do a decent job. But you got to kind of find what your goals are and what's important to you. I just want to reiterate the point. We are highly, highly complex beings. Okay. So, within the nature of this, you might begin to find yourself stepping into this box and out of this box and back into this pillar and over into this pillar. It's kind of like watching Marla Hooch from A League of Their Own or something, stepping in and out of the batter's box, and she can't figure out which sign from which coach to take, and she's super uncertain. Well, this is kind of the nature and the complexity of these pillars. We can kind of be doing good at one area and think we're killing it at area and kind of stop focusing on that area and start focusing on this area. And then after a while, we notice, oh, this area that we're really killing it at is no longer, we're not killing it there anymore. So it's important to have these sort of daily inventories and reflections on how you're doing in certain areas. And I hope this model can kind of help make that an easy structure for you to begin to kind of check off your list and see how you're doing with those things. I want to talk about certainty and uncertainty and what that means within this model of the five pillars. So think of the foundational needs and the two pillars on the left as these are the certainty needs. These are the needs that require the mostly certainty. Think of maybe 80%, 90% certainty. But then the evolved needs, these evolved needs are more uncertain type needs. So let's clarify. The certainty within foundational needs is going to be there for the most part. Let's say, for example, with diet. if you have some sense of trying to have a healthy nutrition plan, then you probably are making most of your meals. You kind of know what you're putting into your body. You kind of know that you're putting in nutrient dense food. You know the quality of the food. You know it's whole foods. You know it's not mixed with a bunch of other stuff. And so you can regulate what you put into your body on a regular basis. Very, very certain. You can make meal plans. You can figure out and go into all sorts of details with it. But every now and then, you just kind of want to go out to a certain restaurant. Like sometimes within that restaurant, you know what you want. You know, okay, I'm going to go to El Naviero and I'm going to get the chili verde. And that's what I'm going to do. I have certainty within it. It's great. Every now and then, maybe you just want to try something different. Maybe you want to try something totally off the wall that you've never tried before, and that's fun and that's uncertain. And you can do that within your relationships too, which you can just randomly go on a trip and go and do something. And that's uncertain. It's out of the norm. You're used to waking up at a certain time of the day. You have these patterns that help bring across security for you. And every now and then you just want to spice it up with some uncertainty. The opposite is true within the evolved needs. Here, there is a lot of uncertainty within it. The majority of it is going to be uncertainty. And the reason why is if you try to overload the evolved needs and these pillars within the evolved needs with certainty, what you're going to do is you're going to create restraint. You're going to create plateaus. You're going to create passivity, lack of creativity. You want to be able to have a very creative, very fluid structure within the evolved needs. You want to be able to be more nuanced within the way you tackle things. Of course, you're going to want certainty because that's going to help you feel more secure, but it's also going to limit you within your opportunity that is so important with the evolved needs. Again, the evolved needs is to stress and challenge competency, to have success through new skill set, and to evolve a spiritual or higher awareness connection outside of yourself. Really lean into uncertainty here. Allow yourself to build up faith within yourself, faith outside of yourself, and new skill sets. So let me summarize real quick. Really what you want within these pillars is you want a passing grade. You want an A, I'm sure, but that may not be feasible for you. You want a passing grade. You want to be able to mark most of these markers within the 5 pillars. And if you're able to get a passing grade, you are more likely to feel grounded in life. You are more likely not to get stuck in areas of complacency, in areas of insecurity and fear, but be able to push yourself to thrive and do new things and do things that you never thought you could do. And also do things like sustain behaviors that you already do, that you excel in, and want to continue to excel in. Think of it as something that you can use to help you with a daily inventory, for example, something that you can use to kind of check in. How am I doing in certain areas? Where are some blind spots for me? Where are some things that I need help in? If you find this video to be helpful, I encourage you to share it with a friend, share it with a family member that you feel like would find value in it. If you're a client of mine, if you had any questions or something, let me know, shoot me a text and we'll talk about it and we'll process anything that you wanted to go over with it. And this video is going to go into a series of videos that's going to cover the small endeavor I took on, which is to define addiction. It's just a tiny, tiny endeavor. It's the most easiest thing in the world to define. It is not an easy task to define. So I'm going to try to make that easy and digestible in the series of videos coming up. Understanding addiction.